In example 2, we're given the average temperature for 14 U.S. states, and that's listed on the table here on the right-hand side. This would appear to be degrees Fahrenheit. Let's see here, do we think the data is symmetric, skewed right, skewed left? We'll explain. Well, there might be an outlier here for Alaska. It's kind of far away from North Dakota. Looks like the middle of the data is like around 50 maybe, or something like that. And actually 70 is not too far away from 50, and well, I don't know, really, to be honest with you. I think it's symmetric, but we don't really know if it's skewed right or skewed left just by looking at this list of data. So let's use our calculator to help us out. Now, I've already entered this in, so if you go to Statistics and hit Edit, I want you to enter this in. It doesn't really matter which list you choose. I've chosen list 2 to enter my data in. Make sure that you have the correct figures, make sure your decimals are in the right spot, and that you have 14 sets of data. You can easily do that by just cursoring down to the last piece of data, which is 70.7 for this one, and it says 14 there, so I know that I've got the right set of, or the right amount of data in. Please hit pause and make sure that you've entered all of this data in. Once you've entered all the data in, we're going to quit out of this screen, and we're going to try to look at the data, either using a histogram or a box plot. Let's take a look at our stat plots, which is second y equals. We're going to go to enter here. I've already turned mine on. If yours isn't on, please turn it on now. And let's go to a modified box plot. That's this one right here. So we're going to hit enter. This time I want list 2. That's where I entered my data in. If you entered yours in list 1, that's fine. You just use list 1. And now we can go to zoom 9. Oops, that didn't work quite well. Let's go to zoom 9 after we quit. And we can see here that the data, if we look at the box plot, there's actually no outlier. This is a modified box plot, and it would show like a little asterisk or something like that, or in our case, we chose the square thing to indicate that mark. And they're not there. It's pretty symmetric. It's roughly symmetric. Yes, we see a little bit of a tail that's longer over here than the right-hand side, but if we look here, the median is directly in between Q1 and Q3, and so this is roughly symmetric. Let's see what the histogram looks like. So we can do this very easily in our calculator by just going second y equals, which is the stat plot or statistics plot menu, and then going to the type and just changing it to a histogram. You want to hit zoom 9 after this. So go to zoom 9, the calculator will give you a nice viewing window, and you can see that this data does look symmetric. We have a nice kind of a unimodal set here. There's a vertical line of symmetry, and so the data is symmetric. And to explain, you can simply write down the histogram looks symmetric, or there's an equal amount of data on the left and the right, and there's no tail on this data, looking at either the box plot or a histogram. Based on your answer to part A, what measures of center and spread would be appropriate to report? So the measure of the center for symmetric data, we're going to report as the mean. The spread is going to be standard deviation for this one. I know we haven't worked with that a lot. We will in the future, but just know that your calculator can get to that value pretty easily. So to find that value, we can just quit out of this screen. Let's go to the statistics menu, go right to calculate one variable statistics, so just hit enter. And we want list 2 for this one. Remember, I entered my data in list 2. If you entered yours in list 1 or another list, just use that particular list. You can hit second and either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and that'll get you to the appropriate list. I'm going to hit enter here, and we can look down and we can see a few different things. First of all, we have the mean at 52. So let's report that. So the mean is approximately 52. We're not given a unit here, but I'm pretty sure this is degrees Fahrenheit, and that was pretty close to our guess before. If we cursor down a little bit, I'm just going to compare something for you, and the median here is 52.55, and that's very close to 52. The mean is pulled a little bit lower by this Alaska, but it's technically not an outlier. You could use your upper fence and lower fence, but the calculator's already done that work for us. Remember that we wanted to list the standard deviation. And the standard deviation is actually this one right here. It's this funny little symbol, and it looks like that with a little kind of a line on the top. And the standard deviation for this one is 11.6, so it's about 11.6. So that'll be the spread that we can report is that standard deviation right there, and the mean here would be 52.